everybody, and welcome back to Lindsay's Little Library. So I'm here today with my June wrap-up because somehow June is done and I'm not really sure how that happened. But for a reading month, not too bad. I read 8 books. I'll take that. It's a couple a week. It's pretty decent. I listened to an audiobook and the rest were all off of my shelf. One's a new one, one's been here a while. It's a good mix. Pretty good mix. I need to get back to my Kindle though. I haven't read on that in a while, but I've just been liking books lately. All right, so let's get started. First one I finished in June was Hostage by Claire McIntosh. I give this 4 stars. This follows a flight attendant who finds herself on kind of the maiden voyage of a large aircraft that is flying from England to Australia. And we find out pretty early that she is selected to go on to this flight, kind of to avoid some issues with her marriage that's going on at the time. And as the name of the book suggests, there's some things that go down on that flight. And she has some really crazy decisions to make. And it goes in directions I did not expect. Claire McIntosh, I'm starting to really enjoy her books. This is my second one that I've read by her. And I kind of like how she leads you in a direction that you wouldn't normally think we would be going in. So I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It was good. Well, the next book I'm going to talk about, I don't remember what order I read them in, but Island of Lost Girls by Jennifer McMahon. I have been trying to pick up a lot of the Jennifer McMahon backlist books that I have on my shelf and kind of read through that as her new books again continue to come out and I want to read them. So this one follows our main character, Rhonda. She is parked at a gas station and finds out that she's basically the witness to a crime. She was kind of like in the moment, she just doesn't really understand what's happening, which neither would myself. But she basically watches someone who is dressed in a rabbit costume kidnap a young girl. And so the fact that she sat there and did nothing is bugging her. So she kind of joins in on the quest to find this little girl. And as she's doing that, she's starting to remember some things that have happened in her past. So there's a little bit of dual timeline, a little bit of mystery in the past, mystery in the present. I gave this 3 stars. It was weird, but not in like a good weird way. I wasn't a fan. But I think this was only the second book that she wrote. So knowing I have liked her other books in the past, I'll still read some Jennifer McMahon ones. But if you're also kind of picking up some of her backlist books, you can skip this one. It's okay. It's okay. It was just weird. It's weird. Next book I want to talk about, then I followed it up with this fantastic read. So this is Unmissing by Minka Kent. This was sent to me from Amanda at the Curly Reader. I want to say she was listening to a podcast and heard about this book and basically was like, this is for Lindsay, and she was not wrong. This was just I have no words as to how awesome this book was. So we have Merritt and her husband Luca have the life they've dreamed of, a coastal home, promising future, growing family, and that dream ends with a knock on the door as Luca's first wife Lydia, who's been missing for 10 years and presumed dead, is back, and she wants answers. And it's crazy. It's so good. It's so good. So 5 stars. Read that one. I borrowed it to a friend of mine and she literally read it in like maybe a day. I think I read it within like 24 hours. It was wild ride. All right, so on the bandwagon of picking up some backlist books, I read Creep by Jennifer Hillier. I've read a couple books by her. Jar of Hearts is by far my favorite. This was supposed to, this one is creepy. This one's raw. This is raw. So we have a psychology professor who is an expert on human behavior. She is ending an affair that she's been having with one of her teaching assistants because she just got engaged. And well, the affair, this Ethan that she was having this affair with, is not happy and doesn't really want to let her go. So yeah. There is a follow-up book to this called Free that I need to get my hands on because it ended on a bit of a like, what? Now where's it gonna go from here? So I definitely enjoyed it. I have to get that back to my friend because I borrowed it from her. Another, oh, what did I give Creep? I gave it 4 stars. Another amazing book I picked up, I actually just talked about this not that long ago. 100 Years of Lenny and Margot by Marianne Cronin, 5 stars. I need to find Lenny and Margot and I want to hang out with them. They're just so fantastic. So basically this takes place on a ward of the hospital where terminally ill patients reside. So they all have accepted that they're not here for long. Lenny is 17, Margot is 83. They form this amazing friendship. They come up with this really cool project to do together. And it sounds just so simple, but it's written so beautifully. I have a couple book darts in here. There's conversations Lenny has with a priest that are it's just so good. Pick this one up. That's all I have to say. 5 stars. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Keeping up with kind of my backlist books. Book of Last Names. Did I talk about this recently? I don't think I did. This is one I've been wanting to pick up for a while. It's Kristen Harmel. It's a World War II historical fiction. Another, what did I do? Book of Last Names. 5 stars. We had a good reading month. I'm just saying, of the 8 books. So this takes place 1942, World War II. We're in France. We have Eva there's dual timelines. We have Eva who's living in Florida. She's a semi-retired librarian and she reads reads an article or sees like a newscast about how in Germany they're trying to figure out where all of these collector books, these historical books came from and trying to get them back to the rightful owners. And she sees a book in this newscast, I think it was, that she needs to go get. And so we start learning that during World War II, she fled Paris as a Polish Jew and hid out in a small mountain town in the free zone in Paris and kind of became a forger for documents to get Jewish children across the border and out. So follows her story, and what she went through was fantastic. The only small beef I have is probably because I've read so much historical fiction, so much World War II historical fiction, is some parts were a little unbelievable, and I'll just leave it at that. Just a little unbelievable, but overall, still a fantastic book. Loved it. I need to read more Kristen Harmel for sure. Next book I picked up, I was a little nervous to pick up because I've heard some varying reviews. Some people have not liked this book as much, some have liked this book as much, but I'm in love with Simone St. James, so I felt the need to read her newest release, which is the Book of Cold Cases. And surprisingly, I really enjoyed it. I gave this 4 stars where people were not really liking it. The ghost aspect of it, still fantastic. And maybe it's because Simone St. James, The Broken Girls was the first one I read, so I feel like that ghost was a little more impactful for me. But overall, I really enjoyed it. So we have 1977 Clear Lake, Oregon, 2017, same area. In the past, there was these lady killer murders where 2 men, seemingly very random, were murdered with the same gun. The entire town suspected this one woman. She ended up going to trial but was acquitted. So we have present day, we have Shay Collins. She is a receptionist by day, but by night she runs this like Book of Cold Cases, this blog about kind of solving true crime. and she is desperate to interview this Beth Greer. Ends up running into her and forming an interesting relationship, and Beth invites her in and says, sure, let's talk. Yeah, the paranormal aspect of this, still creepy. I did at one point have to put it down at night. But yeah, I mean, 4 stars, I still really liked it. I don't know. I could kind of foresee some stuff coming. Nothing was really a huge surprise for me, but I didn't know what to expect going into it. And I think that really helped me enjoy the book as much as I did. So I would say go read it. That's my opinion. So I liked it, 4 stars. And then I listened to, let me make sure I'm not missing anything. I think that's all of them. I listened to Run, Rose, Run by James Patterson and Dolly Parton. So James Patterson is kind of like my palate cleanser author. Like, I do enjoy his books, but I can't read a whole bunch in a row, and I don't have high expectations for them. They're good books. And I was really intrigued by this one because I'm a big Dolly Parton fan. I kind of grew up listening to her music. Kelsey Ballerini is also a narrator in this audiobook, and so I knew I just needed to listen to it. And man alive, do those two characters really bring these characters to life? Or do those two voices bring these characters to life? So this follows a young girl who is on the run and coming to Nashville to basically be like, I'm here to make it. She comes into town with nothing, not even a guitar. She ends up playing at an off-Broadway, an off-chance bar, who she gets lucky, and somebody there notices her and kind of gets her connected to a country music star, which is played by Dolly Parton, who I couldn't help but picture as Dolly Parton. And she takes her under her wing and kind of helps her along. But our main character comes with a past, and the past is following her. So that's where the true James Patterson kind of storyline comes into play. So again, I enjoyed it. It was a good one to listen to as I'm walking the dog and mowing the lawn and whatnot. So I really liked it, and that was thanks to Libro FM. I got it off of there. So those were the 8 books I read in June. Not a bad month at all. I will take it. What am I reading now? Let's see. I did just start The Lake by Natasha Preston. I'm not far into it, 20 some pages, so I don't really have an opinion yet. I started this at the lake when I was there yesterday. Again, didn't get very far. We were having a really good time. So this one follows a couple of characters who are campers at Camp Pine Lake. They're back as counselors in training, but we know something happened to them while they were campers in the past that makes them skeptical of coming back. So that's what I'm picking up now. I have a couple others on my docket back here that I have to get to. Otherwise, I'm kind of open. We don't have much going on in July. I'm hoping to get through some really decent books and kind of start clearing off my shelf, because yeah, we've all been there. But yeah, let me know what you've read in June that was a knock it out of the park book and you think I should pick up. Leave a comment below. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.